Welcome to the Conscious Radio Network's YouTube channel. Become enlightened, have fun, and tell all your friends and family to share with everyone they know. You can find us on Facebook and stay up to date on our Facebook group, or find us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Our podcast can be found on Libsyn, iHeart, Spotify, Google Podcast, and more. Most of all, remember to go to our official website at consciousradionetwork.com for podcasts, posts, future shows, and scheduling. We also want to welcome our international audience. Don't stop now and join the community. Subscribe today.
This is the Conscious Radio Network.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you might be on this spaceship we call Earth. Welcome to Conscious Radio Network's weekly podcast series, The Weekly Seance. I'm your host, Reverend Dr. Paul Mekas. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, like, share, comment, and also follow us wherever you get your podcasts or wherever you listen. And don't forget to check us out on the Rumble channel or Uncensored Material. Today, chaos is a way to clarity. Learn how to use it. Is there a lot of chaos in your life affecting your mental clarity? Today, we are connecting with the mind architect, Manpreet. We will discuss how he digs through chaos to find the treasure of mental clarity, sweeping away mental baggage and helping you access your intuitive mind for a life of freedom. Let's welcome to the show, Manpreet.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If every day I can get that kind of welcome every morning, my days will go a lot good.
Right? Oh, man. So, explain a little bit about yourself. How did you, is this something, how did you get into this? How did,
I think, so I always had spiritual inclination. And when I say spiritual, I grew up in a religious family. I come from a Sikh faith. So I always have that inclination or, built into my upbringing was religion, but that's the only thing I knew. It was more prayer-based, like you pray, you ask for something, and sometimes you'll get it if you're good, if you behaved. If you didn't, you will not. So, there's always ask and you shall be given if you are worthy of it kind of upbringing. But I always had that, faith there. And I think it wasn't until I got everything I wanted, or most of it what I wanted, and realizing that, it's still not enough. I still feel empty. And I started to ask the bigger questions. Like one of the questions that really shook me was that, if I were to die tomorrow, what would be my legacy? What would people say I did? Did I change any life? Did I make any impact? That started to make me feel even more empty inside in terms of what I was doing in my life. I had a very successful IT career. I still have that job, but I could not see anything outside of it. So when I started to look, what does my life mean? Who am I? Why am I here? All the questions. That's when things started to change. And I started to look for the answers online, study books, listen to podcasts, listen to all the gurus that were there available, look back into my faith, my learning, and I get slowly, how they say, when you start going within, when you start seeking answers from within, you start to understand it. So that's when my chaos started to become clear to me why I am here. I still question that from day to day, and I still find new answers. So in short, it's, going back, realizing I was here was not just to work, all the dreams that we have been sold that study, get job, work, get married, have kids, have home, and then what?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When we get to that point in our life, we're like, oh, what we all call the midlife crisis.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, oh man, now it's all done. The kids are out of the house, and you know, me and a wife are together, and we got nothing to do. We don't know what to do, and then it's like everything falls apart. But it seems like everybody's life out there, all our listeners and watchers right now will probably understand that every day is different.
Mm.
One day could be bright and shiny and happy, and then the next moment, it's like chaos hits, and it's like, oh my God, what do we do?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And how we are nowadays, the way we have, sort of uh, grown as a society, even within the days, you may start a good day on a very happy note, and then you hit the traffic, for which
Mm.
a lot of people, you're not going on the road, but you may hit traffic, or you have just one call with somebody, there goes your day. And so we have those waves throughout our days, and that's why it's a lot more um, important and critical for us to have something to lean on that can help us during those low notes, because that's where a lot of us lose ourselves.
Yeah.
All these crises with ADHD, anxiety, and yes, there is need for medicine and medical field for this, but a lot of it is self-driven, society-driven, the pressures we have created, and not having adequate tools that I feel should have been taught in schools to us.
Hmm.
So I feel that's where the journey is. I mean, interestingly, I was born and raised in India, and looking back, when I started to search for the tools, so many of the tools were in my backyard where I grew up, but I
Yeah.
never had access, so I was never aware, but I never had interest either, right? So it's like, how can you miss it? And we miss it because we are not given those tools. We've been trained to focus on all the shiny things, and we forget the shiniest thing we have been given.
Yep. Yep. Our own spirit, our own soul, that energy is built up in this bottle and not know what to do with it. And like you
Yeah.
said, and born and raised in India. And interestingly enough, it's like a lot of the ancient Western cultures, it's I mean, for years it's been spreading to the east, or
Hmm.
the east has been coming to the west.
Hmm.
And, you know, the Western society as we see it today has been, you know, kind of, you know, kind of taking hold of all the ancient Eastern cultures and stuff like that, from Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikh, and I mean, all over the place. Trying to find some purpose, trying to find something to relieve the stress and the chaos in our lives, and but people haven't. It seems like today people still haven't found that key yet. So with where you grew up in India and from the cultures and stuff like that, what are we not seeing? What is it that the West isn't really seeing quite quite clearly?
I think what West has been good about is marketing and selling. Give
Hmm.
them anything, they're going to market and sell you like anything. Whether it's how it's good to drink water, 8 gallons of water, and people have been shoving it. And
Amen.
we can see the negative impact of that. Or whether it's any spiritual aspects. So West has been good at that, where East has, in the Eastern cultures, it was part of the education. I mean, if we went 400, 500 years ago, it was part of the culture where you were first required to go learn about yourself. Even today, when you look at the, uh, monasteries where monks grow up, the very first thing they are taught about how to learn to breathe properly. It's the foundation, right? And
Yeah.
whereas, the Western culture, the Western education, which is very prevalent in India also now, which is what I had, nobody talks about it. The first question is, who do you want to become when you grow up? How are you going to make money? How can you make the most money out of it? And you do not get enough emphasis on the tools you have been given. There's no user manual that was given for the body we have. So I
Yeah.
think the best, that's where the modern education has missed the point where we're not given enough emphasis on what we carry, who we are internally. We have in the name of modernizing the society, the best thing we have done is we have made it so comfortable, right? We live in the most comfortable times in the era, right? You can order food on a click, you
Mhm.
can talk to the people. So we so comfortable, and yet our pains are not different than people who lived 5,000 years ago. We still have, we have a higher level of anxiety, have a higher level of discontent, we have higher level of mental chaos. uh, uh,
Yeah.
and I would boil it down to our education and us not giving enough importance on how much we need to look at our body and how we use it as a tool to live harmoniously with everything around us, with the nature. Uh, uh, that's my take
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we always feel like we're walking on eggshells. We got to pay this bill. We got to pay this bill. We got to keep a roof over our head.
Mm,
All these, human struggles and being within the human condition. And, in a sense, it's, almost like we're just trapped. We just feel like we're trapped.
mm, mm, mm.
Um, and I had another thought and I just doggone lost it. Um, and it was a good one. It'll come back.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and so let me bring up so people can actually find you on LinkedIn, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And let me
Mostly
bring that up
LinkedIn.
here.
I did some Facebook, but it was, I had to cut the chaos of too many social channels. I put it on
Yeah.
one channel, one
Yep.
area where I'm active, so people can find me there.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to say as we were talking about this topic of, there's so much going. What is interesting to me is how much value we give to action, to, always planning the next, and how much we are losing by not having any plans, just trying to be in this moment without any agenda, sitting, getting bored, because that
Yeah.
allows the creativity, that creates the space between where you are and where you can go. If you're always running, when do you pause and get time to see where have you come from and where you want to go? Because running does not allow that vision, right? It's just next, 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 and before you know, it's over.
Yeah. Yeah. And it seems like today time is going by so fast.
Every day.
Um and like you said, there's our comfort level today is so much different than it was back then.
Hmm.
All the technology, it should be making should be making everything easier. But what's happening today is no different than what's been happening 500, 1,000 years ago. I mean, the only difference is running away from the cheetah that's chasing you,
Yeah.
or the
Yeah.
lion. That's about it.
Mm.
Um, but I would say it's stress, or much more should have been much more stress back then. But and preventing trying to be killed by another tribe or something. Who knows? You know.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it's with the technology today. It should be easier, and it. But it doesn't seem. It seems like we're wasting our time trying to understand the technology
Mm.
than actually trying to utilize it.
Yeah.
I mean, I get frustrated all the time when something happens when
Mm. Mm.
during the show, and it's like, oh. And I'm like, okay, move on. Don't worry about it. It's happening for a reason.
Yeah.
So, talk a little bit about the work you do, the help that you offer people, and what modality and how you work
Mm.
with it.
Yeah. Before I go there, I wanted to just make a point about, comparison of our lives. So, one thing that is similar, whether we go back 500 years when there were kings ruling us, or whether we come to the now where corporations are ruling, it was
Mm,
always about people controlling, and whoever
yeah.
had the power. Uh, Back then, it was just sheer force and money, and right now it is the technology. So they are using, the few corporations are using that, their power to control our minds and sort
Hmm.
of sedate. They give us this addictive drugs, in a way that we get addicted to what they offer, and we are like consuming. uh,
Yeah.
and if we are just consuming, we never have a chance to control it because we just open up to the default. So that's another area that really has you know come through the technology, or the control the technology has on us. It's our inability to say no to the consumption. I mean, it's they exactly. I mean, they know us more than we know ourselves, and that's why it's
Hmm.
more important for us to say, wait a minute, I should be knowing myself. They shouldn't be selling me these things. Um, so that's that about comparison of our times and
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
are now.
We're
In
still
terms of
being controlled.
yeah, yeah, in terms of um, the people I work with, most of the people I work with are in a similar situations where they are, stuck in their careers. They don't know where next to go, and they're afraid to break away from what they have already gotten, and that fear is holding them up. And I don't necessarily tell them that you need to leave your job or you need to do differently. Where I help them is developing or using the tools such that they can find answers themselves, that they don't need a guru or teacher, to go get validation from. They don't need social media to get validation from. And being able to step into their own power, having their own clarity. For some it means continuing their job. For some it means um, changing, and some it means continue their relationship. Some means just move on from the relationship. But I'm not there to give them the answers. I am just sharing the tools I discovered on my journey, and I'm helping them use that. And then when they use it, they see the power, because these tools have been used by you know people tens and thousands of years. It's not something
Yeah.
I developed. I just found a way to use them, and I share that. And I feel that when somebody uses it and they recognize their own power, um, and I can see the light lit up in their eyes, it just does it for me. Interestingly, there's no better money, or there's no better way of feeling fulfillment when you see somebody recognizing their own power and like, oh, I can do that, you know.
Yeah. 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 And it's quite relieving and honor to be able to help somebody. You see that they're struggling. You see that they're just they they
Mm,
can't find a way out,
mm.
and just seeing their expression, like, whoa. Um, do you have any any breakthrough clients that you've worked with? Anybody that at the end of it they were like, wow, you really really changed somebody's life.
I wouldn't say I've changed it, but I have people that I work with where I've seen the wisdom using the ancient wisdom, how they break away from their chains. And I have a big contrast. I'll give you two examples. So one of the persons, she was going through a divorce from a marriage, 8, 9 years old marriage. They had a child from the marriage. So, you can imagine um, how much difficult it is for letting go that relationship, because you have to worry about what about the father for my son, how will we
Yeah.
have, how we will give that child a life where he doesn't feel that their parents are not together and he's not missing out on that. And so there were that kind of things. And the husband not wanting to get divorced, in the sense the husband keeping on trying to, okay, why don't we try one more time? And how many times you try one more time and it's not enough, when your inner voice is saying you need to get over it. And
Mm.
so helping that person find the faith. One of the big things I get challenged myself, which is what I share with them, is what in any given situation, am I operating from faith or fear? Where is my faith? Like when I make people or situation my God, for example, for myself personally, I was going through a home renovation, and there were so many number of times I was having challenge with my building contractor, him not showing up, him not doing the work on time, him trying to charge more money out of it. And I felt like pleading, can you please do it? And before I could plead I was pleading that in my mentally, and then
Yeah.
I would have this question, where is your faith? Why are you making him the goer? If you were really aligned, if you were really in your power, you wouldn't even have to ask him. He would do it for you. And so recognizing that I still have work to do, and then sharing the same thing with the people I work, like, where is their faith? What is it, fear that is stopping them? Or for making them take the action that they wouldn't normally take. Sometimes it's just comfort. It's just easy to fall in.
Mm.
So helping them realize that. So this person, um, you know, for the longest wasn't able to get through it, and I kept telling her, focus on faith. What can you do with one more day with a little bit more love? Because we can focus on all the negative things that are coming when there is a legal battle. It's lawyers are convoluted. They will drag you. They just focus on getting the results. They want to, make a successful case. But I kept telling her, can you focus on love? Can you do, show up as a being of love, a being who is in their power and not afraid to lose? And sure enough, she kept doing it, and you know just 2 weeks ago there was she got the judgment in her favor. Not
Yeah.
only that, miraculously, there was she is from Canada. There was a law passed, and that helped her get disability benefits for an injury that she got at work. So there were so many intertwined things that were happening, but all of them miraculously started to fall in line when she fall in line with herself, when she started to love herself enough to not worry about what was going externally.
Yeah. 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 Keeping your mind on track and focusing on the work or the deeds or the things that you love the most. Stay there. Don't worry about all this crazy stuff, because all it does is create fear. It creates
Yeah,
fear and then changes the vibration and the energy
yeah,
of your spirit, and you would then end up, bringing that to you, attracting all that energy.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it's crazy. it's and it's magic too. At the same time, it's magic,
It is
But
magical.
we
It is
lost
magic.
that. We lost that ancient forbidden knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, and
Eh, it's not lost. People are awakening. I mean, thanks to, for everything thing bad that COVID was, the best outcome has been that people have awakened. Like more and more people are, questioning, the life, because we realize all of a sudden, and it was the best part was because it was global, it was everywhere. People felt the same thing, same time, and they started to question. And if I was talking to um, 10 people before COVID, and maybe one people would want to talk about these things, nine people
Yeah.
want to talk about these things now, because realizing it's not working, whatever it is, whatever dreams we've been sold, it's not
Yeah.
gonna take us.
Yeah. Now, how long have you actually been that you've been doing this? That you said, man,
Um,
now once you've kind of like mastered it for yourself. But that's the thing, I mean, we're jack of all trades, but a master of none, so to speak.
mhm, mm,
Um, but
yeah,
how long have you been working with other people on teaching them this?
3 years. So I started, I always had this inclination of teaching, and in my career, I was like, I being in position to lead people, I used to do, but I never incorporated that spiritual aspects of it. It was more business, and it came unnaturally, like without me intentionally putting things there. Like, if things would project would go wrong, I would, don't worry, it's meant to be. There must have been some reason. Let's try to bring it back. So there was a positive mindset attitude that was always there as part of there. But last 3 years has been where I've been actively working, and I started like the minute I decided that I was going to do something different.
Yeah.
Um, I had this thought that I wanted to work with people, so I picked up my phone, messaged 10, I think 10 people, and said, "Okay, here I want to just start up a group where I will teach you what I've learned through my life, and
Mm.
I'll share, and hopefully it can help you." So I immediately started. It was such an inspired thought. I jumped on right away. I didn't wait. And so I did that with people who worked with me for, so very first round, I worked with the people who, in some fashion or some way had reported to me in past. So I had all these people. And then I said, okay, good. I built a little bit of confidence that I can teach. And it started with just teaching mindset first,
Yeah.
nothing spiritual. I would just pick up on things that I can go using the books I've read, mindset, and do that. The second round, I started approaching people um, that were my customers or I met on LinkedIn. And I just said, okay, I'm going to start this mastermind. You want to very first time I didn't even know the term mastermind, so by the time second time I knew there was a term called mastermind. So I started working, and slowly, I started to hone into what I like coaching, where I feel more sense of fulfillment, and the tools that I use for myself. So it shifted from the time when I started, it was all about mindset. Now it's more spiritual. From the time when we started, there were a lot more mixed people. Now it's more women. So, it's just following the breadcrumbs and finding your own way. And so that's how I did it.
That's amazing too. It's like you said, it literally happens overnight. When you
In
get
10
this,
years.
when you get this just blast of this
Yeah.
idea, like, whoa, where did that come from? It
Mhm.
just tells you that there is the divine is out there, the God, the higher self, the
Yeah.
universe, Mother Nature, everything. I mean, it's out there. And there is a higher intelligence,
Mm.
and a divine intelligence out there that's our muse. It's like they're like, okay, you need to change your path right now.
Mm.
Boom. I'm gonna give you an upload. Here's a thought. you know,
Yeah.
that's how I started this show, and it was literally like overnight. It's like
Mm.
back in 2015. But it's amazing, and and it's a blessing, and sharing that blessing, sharing that gift to everybody,
Yeah.
is amazing too. I mean, it's a wonderful gift and wonderful knowledge. And now, what would be the biggest takeaway that you would like to share for our listeners and viewers?
Um, I'll share a story which
All
has a
right.
message, and it happened just yesterday. So yesterday, I saw a post from somebody I follow on LinkedIn, and I've interacted on DMs a few times. We've shared messages about what I liked about their post, or the person would send those things. And I saw a post yesterday they made about prayer,
Mm-hmm.
and I have this intuitive side where sometimes when I, think of people, some kind of intuitive thoughts come, and I'll write down as a prayer for that person, and I'll send that. I'll share that when it comes. I don't force, like it has to be something that I'm called upon to do in a way. So I told myself, okay, I'm gonna write a prayer for this person and send in a message. And then I went to have shower, and in the shower I had this thought. I questioned myself, what is my intention behind creating that prayer for that person? The very first response that came was, I want her to see me, right? It was like I wanted her to see me, that I am her ally. I wanted to be seen. And that was okay. And I was like, okay, I wanted to be seen. And then immediately after, there's this thought that was, maybe you don't want her to see you. Maybe you want you to see yourself.
Yeah.
And that was profound for me because it came through naturally. I was not planning. And I heard it that actually what I want other people to validate, it's not that I want them to be validated. Can I validate myself first? Do I see myself enough? Do I feel the love that I want to give others? Do I feel the same love for myself? Because when I start to give that love, that validation, seeing myself for who I am internally, I don't need anybody else. Everything stops. Like then this moment becomes enough. I just don't need anything. All my fears, all my worries, all my anxiety is finished. So if I want, to share um, a takeaway from all this that we talked, if people
Yeah.
forget everything, if they can just do this, if they can start seeing themselves, like start feeling in their body that who they are in this moment are enough, they are loved, they were brought here for a reason. Everything in this existence is running because of a planned drama. It's a planned drama, and you are part of that planned drama. You have a role here, and you are equally very important. If you go with that premise and love yourself enough to be able to go and do what you're doing, it'll be so much worth. We'll be in such a better place if everybody just started to love themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, loving yourself, getting your power back, and kind of also recognizing the infinite divinity in everyone, because everybody has this infinite divine self,
Mm-hmm.
hence namaste. And when I first started hearing people use that greeting, many years ago, I didn't know what it was. I'm going, oh, okay. But
Yeah.
then as time went on, I'm going, now I understand it, and then realized what it meant. It means a lot more now.
Mm.
And you get to, and saying it,
Mm.
saying it um and expressing it means a lot more too. And the energy behind it becomes much more powerful. But you also have to live it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
The thing is the power is in whatever meaning we give to anything. Like it's the meaning,
mhm.
that we attach to anything, that word namaste, if you don't know the meaning and you don't want to find out, it's just a word. But the
Yeah.
minute you give a meaning, it gives a different vibration to you. So, and that's why I take it back to love, because it's a universal language. We know it. Do we know it intimately enough for ourselves? Because if we cannot love ourselves, we're not gonna find it from anybody else either.
Yeah.
Our life would become easy. You know, every time I heard any NDE, anybody who had out of body experience, any sages, any book of wisdom we pick up, whether it's Bible, whether it's Bhagavad Gita, it's all about love. Why is it something that's like sitting in front of us so hard for us to, uh, embody? It's yes, we can intellectually understand it, but to embody and live it is it's a very different story, and that's our challenge, being able to accept ourselves
Yeah.
in all our
Yeah.
limitations, and still loving ourselves, because when we can do it out to ourselves, we can easily do it to um, everybody around us. The thing is that
Yeah.
we don't love ourselves enough, so we do not love other people around us enough either.
Yeah, I believe that was like one of the very first things that we had to learn in metaphysics is love yourself first, because you can't help anybody if you can't help yourself.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Yeah. But
It stops. See,
yeah.
when you come to love, like it settles. We don't need any more discussion. And we run out of. Uh, it's like there's no need for talking anything anymore. There's a beautiful silence it brings.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Manpreet, thank you for your time. It's wow. It's amazing that and the work that you do and those that you help that just feel stuck in this chaotic world that we're going through right now. And thank you for coming on the show and sharing that. And for those who want to reach out to Manpreet, go on to LinkedIn and type in the Manpreet Bawa, and you'll find him.
Yeah.
And but yeah, keep me updated if you have any like if you got a book coming out, or if you got another program coming out and stuff like that. I would be happy to share it for you. And again, coming back on the show and letting everybody know about it. And yeah,
Thank you. I want to acknowledge you for what you do, because you realizing and hearing those whispers back in 2015, you didn't need to take action, but you took a chance to listen to the whispers, and
yeah. I still hear those whispers. They're always
it
every now and then. They're like, shh. I'm like, okay,
never ends. That's
yeah,
the beauty.
right.
But
Yep.
that listening, in the times where uh, we live in the world of comparison, there are so many great people. Every single episode, like you bring, and even if one person listens to it, your light shines through. I mean, it's incredible to me sometimes how much people do not do, because they feel like, who can they change? What can they do? But if they
Yeah.
just listen to those whispers, just like you did, we'll be in a lot better place. So I am thankful that I found you through the Facebook group, and then we had this conversation. But I'm grateful that there are people like you who are creating spaces like this where we can have these conversations. Thank you.
You are very welcome. Very welcome. And that this is what the platform is for. There's so much so much media out there that's garbage. It's eye
It is.
candy. It's just ear candy, but
Yeah.
is it giving anybody knowledge? Is it giving anybody ammunition to be able to move on through the day or through the week or through the month or through the year that's going to be purposeful. And that is why I created it. And actually, it originally created for the paranormal, but it just grew into this. Yep, every topic, anything and everything. Hence, conscious radio network, and yeah, it's about the human condition. Who are we? Why are we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've asked, I don't know how many times, how many lives. I will keep asking.
Yeah. And until we have the show that we can define the secret of the universe. Yeah. Yeah. But
Should be hopeful, we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all about building that user's manual for the human body and the human spirit. So well, Manpreet, namaste, my friend. My honor.
Namaste.
Thank you. You have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the rest. Actually, is it morning, evening?
It's night. It's about.
Oh, that's right. That's night. Yeah.
Almost 10 p.m.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. All right, brother. Namaste, my friend. You have a wonderful
care,
evening.
man. See you.
And you take care. Until everybody, thank you for watching Conscious Radio Network. And until next week, we'll see you then.